Vermont's landscape is a playground for those who like to explore. For many, that exploration happens close to home, in their local town forest.
The finches are right now. The hummingbirds will come, red-winged blackbirds at times, rose-breasted grosbeaks.
Mike Potvin and his wife live on the edge of the Hinesburg town forest.
My wife and I like the bird. We chose to live here so we could live in the woods or near the woods. We like the nature and the rural atmosphere, so just being involved with it was what we wanted to do.
For Potvin, being involved means serving as chair of the Town Forest Committee, a group that oversees the forests in Hinesburg.
July minutes to any concerns,
There are two, the old town forest and the newer La Platte Headwaters Town Forest. This is a big year for them and for town forests around the state.
This is a really exciting year for Vermont's town forest. This year we're celebrating the 100th anniversary of the Municipal Forest Act, which was passed in 1915, which basically allowed towns to acquire parcels of forested land for the management of timber and water protection.
Many towns already had some land that was being used as de facto town forests, but the Municipal Forest Act of 1915 solidified those efforts and called for more intentional management.
Even though cultivation of timber was the primary driving force behind the town forest campaign, those who championed town forests encouraged towns to take advantage of a broad range of benefits, including helping local wood-using industries, aesthetic qualities of woodland, recreational interests, wildlife habitat, and help providing wood fuel for the poor during winter.
A number of towns bought up abandoned properties and lots that had been clear-cut and planted thousands of trees. Steve Russell has a long history in Hinesburg. He's watched the forest grow from those early days when there wasn't much here.
Well, it was quite open. Farms had just left the area. In the late 50s, bulk tanks were coming in, and they didn't build the roads into the forest to have a truck drive up and collect the milk every day. They used to bring the milk out on horse and buggy, but after the bulk tank came, the small farms up here kind of disappeared.
Russell used to come to the town forest as a kid. His father managed the forest at the time, and the townspeople would help out when there was planting to do.
The men in town, usually Sundays, they would gather together and come up here and plant trees that were provided by the government.
Those trees were a mix of fast-growing conifers that could provide a quick revenue stream for towns, and trees that could be left to get larger and more valuable, either for their environmental benefits or to eventually be sold. Just a couple of miles down the road from the Old Town Forest is the La Platte Headwaters Town Forest, a 300-acre parcel acquired by the town in 2007. Much of it is a wetland forest, with a small stream at the southern boundary of the property that is a headwater of the La Platte River. It's a very different habitat than the Old Town Forest. A number of partners worked with the town of Hinesburg to help create the forest, and in the process, they made an unexpected discovery.
A really key surprise and component to this project was discovering an endangered species that lived here and was completely unknown to the biologists at Fish and Wildlife, and that was the Indiana bat.
Protecting the Indiana bat and its habitat are key points in the management plan here. The town has also planted trees to help restore the areas around the river, which includes some prime agricultural land.
We started planting a couple thousand trees to reestablish our riparian buffer along the La Platte and in some of the wetter areas of the field to get a more typical diversity of species that you would find in a floodplain forest. So we planted some silver maples, we planted a lot of different types of oaks, and red maples, elms, a lot of different shrubs, and that in turn will bring in a diversity of animal species. We also, in the management plan, worked on saying that there's certain portions of it which is actually really good for some of the grassland birds. So a part of the forest is actually managed for grassland, and a portion of it still had some really good agricultural potential, and so that is leased to a farmer to continue haying.
Vermont has 349 town forests, owned by 168 municipalities. While not every town has a forest, new ones are being created all the time.
Every town has the possibility of creating a town forest, and we work with partners who do a lot of work in conservation and acquisition of new town forests every day. They can be everything from a watershed forest to a school forest to a conservation area. It's really just a place that the community has made the commitment and dedication to creating as a community resource.
Here at the Hinesburg Old Town Forest, caring for the property is very much a community effort.
Fellowship of the Wheel now maintains approximately 100 miles of trails. This is one of the areas that we have trails in. You can see right up here in the forest, there's some in the background there, that sinuous, nice curvy looking thing. That's what contemporary trails look like now. We manage about 100 of them. This is one of 8 areas that we manage in.
Mickey Stone is the trail director for the Fellowship of the Wheel, an organization founded by bike enthusiasts that builds and maintains trails for biking, hiking, and walking.
We work underneath a forest management plan. It's made by kind of a forester or state forester, plus UVM helps out with it. Once that's can come in, then we have to, be careful of certain things. We're not going to come in here and take down a tree that's 80 years old just because we want to put a trail around it. So we work around large trees. Fortunately, myself and the crew are educated in botany and geology and hydrology and have a degree in mineralogy. And we're able to key out all the major biological features around. And so if there's orchids around or a certain species that's somewhat, not a lot of them around, or salamanders, then we'll relocate the trail for that reason.
A big part of maintaining the forests and trails is keeping in mind that people use the woods in different ways.
The tradition of stewardship that towns have been demonstrating in New England is a strong tradition, a strong history. And that history is important because today there's often intense debate about forest use and how forest resources should be distributed among sometimes competing concerns. And yet for 4 centuries, New England towns have been demonstrating an ability to act as stewards and also manage forests for multiple uses.
It's a fine balance. It's not just about just the trees. It's not about just preservation. It's not about just mountain biking. It's about a fine balance of everybody living together in this environment. And we're fortunate to have this and have everybody open to let us do this type of work here.
Big, tall, they're right beside the trail.
Working together from the conference room to the forest to give everyone in the community a place to go, right in their own backyard.
Town forests make our communities a better place to live, work, and play. You don't have to be a forest landowner to get out and enjoy and explore and discover the woods.
Celebrating 100 years of town forests in Vermont and looking forward to the next 100. In Hinesburg, I'm Rebecca Gollin with Across the Fence.